I'm Zippy Silverman, and my mom was Ann Zoss. We lived in Youngstown, Ohio, and for as long as I could remember, my mom was always volunteering. She volunteered at Temple Road of Sholem, at Heritage Manor, which is a home for the aged, at the JCC, and at all my schools. At Road of Sholem, she was a member of the Shiva Committee, among other things. When my mom died in October of 1993, we received donations from her many friends who told us to bring the money to Temple Israel or the JCC in Akron because she loved volunteering there with me. So I brought the money and more to Temple Israel. And after discussion at a sisterhood meeting with, also we had startup notes from Road of Sholem, from the Shiva Committee, our Shiva Committee was born because after the funeral, it takes a committee. Along with Carol Blum, Eileen Schoenfeld, Judy Maines, and many other volunteers, we would assess what was needed and bring in food for the Shiva meal, which might have included, among other things, paper plates, silverware, napkins, coffee, tea, drinks, hard-boiled eggs, kugel, herring, cottage cheese, bagels, cream cheese, etc. We did the setup and the cleanup too. After a few years, with Carol Blum at the helm and all our great volunteers, we branched out into other caring community needs, such as Mother's Day Out, which was for 2.5 hours, 1 day a week, for infants to 5-year-olds. Meals were also provided to families or individuals who had health crises and were in hospital or in rehab. Calls and visits to congregants, homes, at the nursing homes, hospitals, etc. Shabbat meals were provided to congregants who were maybe returning from the hospital or rehab. We distributed leftover bread, bagels, and pastries from Panera twice a week to schools. My school, Crosby Elementary, we kept getting that every 2 weeks, and we would send it home with the kids for the weekend. We branched out also for congregants for these pastries, community neighbors, and first responders. We had Christmas Day lunch for Akron's police at Temple Israel and Merriman Road. Volunteers distributed hot lunches to fire and police departments in Summit County. And there was also brunch for Temple Israel volunteers at the Blum's home. Mm-hmm. Winter coat collection, warm weather clothing was distributed to Akron Public Schools, Haven Arrest, and charities. Free taxi rides, which we coordinated with the Yellow Cab Company, were given to congregants to either come to service or Temple once a month, or to go for medical or rehab or hospitals. Uniforms and backpacks were donated to Akron Public School students. My school, again, was one of the ones we got uniforms and backpacks for. Food, gift cards to needy congregants, and more, too numerous to mention. And now, under the helm of Terry Siegel and Audrey Baker, we have branched out yet again into providing soups and challah for various joyful and difficult times. And there is now a meal train under Rachel Savage and Carrie Brown. So in closing my part, I wanted to show you this. On May 8th, 1999, the Beacon Journal had an article called Good Deeds Drive Group, and they printed a wonderful article about Temple Israel's Ann Zoss caring community and all our good deeds. I will leave you with a quote from Carol Blum from the article. She said, "The idea for the Caring Community Fund is to perform mitzvahs, tender deeds of loving kindness, and to teach children to repair the world and make the world a better place." Thank you for listening.
Shabbat Shalom. First and most important to me is to acknowledge the one person who is not able to be here tonight with us. My inspiration, my partner, my confidant, and my role model. Carol Blum is the person who moved Caring Community to its full, and I mean full, potential. My late sister's temple in Maryland had a program also similar to what Zippy was talking about, called Hineni, which I really liked, Here I Am. And after our mother's death, her temple was so very helpful during Shiva and bereavement. This is the program that Zippy mentioned, and this is how we started. It made such a difference in a very sad journey. Carol, myself, and others, many others, had been providing support individually, but with Zippy's mother, Ann Zas's generous endowment, the Caring Community was born, and it came into full and extensive use when, in 1995, our beloved Cantor Gertz died unexpectedly. During this sorrow-filled time, Caring Community helped organize a Shiva for over 500 people. 500 people, both from congregants and those who knew him in the community. From that sadness-filled moment, Caring Community became an integral part of our Caring Community, Temple Israel, and for the Akron community as well, as our support and collaboration overlaps with community needs. We also coordinate with Jewish Family Service. I believe the number one service Caring Community can offer is a safe and confidential listening ear. It doesn't sound like it's very much, but to start, I think it's really important for congregants to know they have someone that they can talk to. From that very moment, we can work to help support to the best of our ability or facilitate the support that is needed. Temple Israel is so fortunate to have a wonderfully diverse membership. We can draw from congregant skill sets and find volunteers to match skills to needs. Generosity of time and support is so very valuable in helping congregants during joy-filled moments, as well as difficult times of stress or sadness. Too long a list, and basically Zippy did a lot of that. But to name a few, I want to reiterate our soup and challah deliveries that have made people smile and have given people comfort. Bereavement support, senior phone calls for friendship and checking in on needs, transportation assistance, gift cards for food assistance if warranted. Our Shiva Assistance Program supports family needs during this difficult time. I personally have been involved in bereavement services, doing follow-up visits, phone calls, and together with Sandy Letterman, have helped to write and rewrite follow-up letters after loss, which are sent every 3 months for a year, containing resources for families to use as support during the hard time after a loss. What is important to know that all of these services are provided by Temple Israel member volunteers. For, as we all know, it takes a village. Just be aware, we always need volunteers, physically as well as financially. Do you have a skill that you would like to share? Whether young or young at heart, share your gift. Tikkun Olam isn't just an abstract idea. You have the opportunity to repair a little part of the world through Temple Israel Caring Community. I ask if you would think about volunteering, so contact the temple. I'm going to read a little poem. This is by Rabbi Lawrence Kushner of blessed memory. It's called A Jigsaw Puzzle. Each lifetime is the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. For some, there are more pieces. For others, the puzzle is more difficult to assemble. Some seem to be born with a nearly completed puzzle. And so it goes, souls going this way and that, trying to assemble the myriad parts. But know this, no one has within themselves all the pieces to their puzzle. Like before the days when they used to seal jigsaw puzzles in cellophane, ensuring that all the pieces were there. Everyone carries with them at least one, and possibly many pieces, to someone else's puzzle. Sometimes they know it. Sometimes they don't. And when you present your piece, which may be worthless to you, to another, whether you know it or not, whether they know it or not, you are a messenger from the Most High. Be a volunteer. Help us and help yourself. Missing Carol very much tonight, but in lieu of Carol, we are very fortunate to introduce Carol's daughter to help us with a special presentation to her. Before she comes up, I would like to share a few words about the award that, an honor that Carol is getting. The Deborah Honor opportunity to recognize a woman who exemplifies many qualities of our prophet and judge, Deborah, such as solving problems, strategizing with military precision, and if this doesn't talk about your mom, I don't know what does, and providing wise counsel as well. Deborah, one of the rare women of the Bible whose prominence was not connected to a male relative. She rose to prominence on her own. So I would like to welcome Hannah Beth. She would like to say a few words.
I'm bringing my wing lady here. Yeah, because she loves baking with my mom. So thank you so much. That was so much fun to hear about Caring Community, because it just is, I think, I wrote prepared things, but just thinking about off the cuff, it's so many memories of just having things at our house and seeing things that mom was doing, and it sort of puts it all together. Like, it was amazing. It was just sort of, we took it for granted this was our life, kind of living in it, and it was wonderful. So I am so proud of my mom, Carol, and the whole committee and everyone who has always helped her. And thank you to everyone who nominated her, and Eileen and Zippy, and Audrey, and too many volunteers to count. Wonderful friends and volunteers over many decades. Such a collaborative effort. Thank you to Rabbi and Cantor and all of the wonderful Temple Israel staff and all the clergy support, going back to Rabbi Horowitz for support creating and maintaining this committee. So I just wanted to say a few things from my sister Emmy, my brother Matt, and myself, and I'm sure containing some of your thoughts too. But we always think of my mom as the kugel queen. She really inspired us to make a lot of kugel. And we grew up knowing that if you're sick, She can make you one. She can whip up one with her eyes closed. And there's always extra at Temple. She would say, there's more at Temple. Let me know. I can get one. And so now my friends and family members who are sick or had a baby or surgery or something happens, I make them a kugel, and they may not know what a kugel is. You have to write description on the top and the foil, but this is what we know how to do, thanks to Mom. We are so proud to be her children and to be a part of this loving, giving community. Through her work with Caring Community, Mom taught us that in order for a community to thrive in its joyous times and fruitful times, it must be able to sustain itself in dark times as well. We are so fortunate to grow up watching our mom model for us how to be a loving and giving member of a community. Nearly every week, Mom taught us the importance of reaching out to those in need as we watched and sometimes participated in shopping and cooking for congregants who had food insecurity or a sick family member, or visiting an elderly congregant who didn't have family nearby, organizing cooking for Shivas, and calling congregants who needed someone to listen to them. For many years, it was, "Hey, Beth, can you pick up the breads on your way home?" And we were very happy to do that. It was really fun, especially in high school. Our mom modeled what it meant to be a mensch, and we are so grateful to her for strengthening and supporting the Temple Israel community for 3 decades, and for teaching her children and grandchildren the importance of Tikkun Olam.
That. And I'll wave to Carol at home. Hopefully she's watching.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So before we put our tour back, I want to share a second plug for what Eileen had shared, which is that some of you may remember there used to be a commercial about, I don't remember what it was, for a hair loss product, where he said, "I'm not only the owner, I'm also a client." What was the product? Yes, thank you. I wasn't going to ask any particular people in the room.
How do you know, Bob?
But I mentioned it because I don't often think of that commercial in the moment when people at times leave our congregation, but they often say, people will sometimes leave the congregation and say that, I'm not sure what I'm getting anymore. And there is a part of me that says, I think our motto in some way is the opposite of that commercial, which is, you're not only a client, you're also the owner. And it's on us to provide for each other these services. It's not only for us to receive them when we need them, because we, of course, are appreciative when we're in need and somebody knocks on our door and has taken the time out of their life. It's also when things are going well for us that we remember that we own this, and it's on us to do this work. And we're lucky to have such a broad group of people doing this work so often and able to provide for people. And I know for so many people, and especially recently, as recently as this last week, they've reached out to say that this has been amazing to receive food or to receive cards or phone calls, to be noticed when they're stuck at home for weeks on end. So thank you to everybody who's been a part of it, especially to Carol, who deservedly receives this award, and who's been a wonderful champion of this effort and this committee for us, and who's really set the standard for us to follow. So let's all live up to owning this project together and help this committee out and continue to do the great work. And I imagine many of them would say that when you participate in acts like this, you often feel wonderful yourself, and so it's a gift to yourself as well. So thank you to everybody for participating tonight.